to 7. You're watching Breakfast. At least 7 people have died after a plane crashed onto the A27 during the Shoreham airshow, with concerns that more victims could be found as the emergency services searched the sea.
The 1950s Hawker Hunter jet hit cars as it came to ground on the busy dual carriageway. Dave Hampton was at the display and saw what happened. He joins us now from Shoreham. Dave, thank you very much for joining us this morning after what I'm sure was a pretty traumatic day for you and for your family yesterday. Just tell us what you saw.
Well, we were, fortunately, we were behind a marquee at the time. We was having a picnic with the boys. We'd literally turned up 10 minutes before. We saw the Hawker Hunter fly over the marquee. We saw it fly up, and then we saw it almost like turn around and come back. Our 2 boys, who are very passionate about planes, asked where the plane was, and we said it would be along in a minute. And then all we heard then was what sounded like a sonic boom. We thought it sounded like a plane had broken the sound barrier. That's what we thought, and we didn't know anything about it at the time. And then people around us then started standing up and saying, oh my God, it's come down. And at that time we looked over and we saw the big plume of smoke coming over the marquee. It was at that point I went round to see what was happening and went as far as I could to see. We saw where the smoke was. We didn't know that at the time it hit the A27, but we from its position, that's what we thought had happened. We hoped it hadn't. There was a deadly silence around the ground, disbelief, really, shock. There were people who were in tears. There were unfortunate children who'd seen it, who were feeling very traumatised by the whole thing. It wasn't a very nice experience at all.
No, I can see you're still pretty shaken by it, and in fact I think you were on the road, weren't you, just about half an hour before the accident happened. How are your boys this morning? How have you explained it to them?
Well, I'd say fortunately, because we were behind the marquee, they didn't actually see the impact itself. And when they saw the smoke, they asked what it is. They said, well, was that Daddy? And we said it was all part of the show. So they're blissfully unaware that anything happened. So
how do you feel about
we were counting our blessings on that.
The safety of these air shows and taking your family along to them in the future?
We've been to the air show many times before. We went to Eastbourne last year. We're going to another air show next week, so it's not putting us off going to an air show. I think the only thing that can really be said would be in future whether or not it's advisable for planes to do manoeuvres over populated areas like the roads, and maybe in future they should have some rule to only do manoeuvres out over the downs where there's less populated areas.
Yeah, and what's it like there this morning? What kind of atmosphere is there around the area?
It's very quiet around here where we are. There's no one here apart from the BBC. You can see down on the street, you can see there's some activity down on the road where the incident happened. But there is an air of tranquility around here. It's very strange.
Yeah, well, we wish you and your family all the best. As I say, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. That's Dave Hampton, who was there at the air show at Shoreham yesterday.
Just approaching 10.